gentlemen, the kitchen table. It's one of the most useful things that you could use in the house, especially when you have to prepare a couple of vehicles for MOT. Yeah, so what I have, I'll just show you quickly. I had to do a broken spring this weekend on one car and a couple of suspension ball joints. Yeah, lower suspension ball joints, had to cut the bolts off. Just out of a matter of interest, main dealers, I got the right one straight away, and the cost was about 55 quid, yeah, in total. Duff Morgan, this is a Citroen dealer, and the prices are the same as buying it from an aftermarket place. Yeah, just thought I'd let you know that, because these were right the first time. Yeah, and this is what I couldn't afford on a Saturday. Bought the parts Friday. Plenty of stuff to do. As you can see, my table is completely and utterly used up at the moment. The wallet got a battering as usual, and I've got a nice little box from you know where. Yeah, Amazon. All right then, this is my boost cables, okay, for jump starting, clamping one battery one end off a vehicle or a free battery and then onto the other vehicle that I want to start. Yeah, these have their uses. I'm not saying that they're not good. They are good, because sometimes you need to do a sustained crank if you have something that has fuel issues. Yeah, and this used to sit in underneath my seat of my car. Well, I don't do that anymore. I've got one of these. Yeah, did a review the other week. This one is actually better. This has got more power to it. This has got 20 amps, okay, 20 amp hour reserve on it. Okay, now you have, with most of these, they all come standard. Yeah, this does bigger engines, by the way. You have your USB outlets, and this one has 15 volts, 10 amps. Yeah, okay, so you can, the adapter in here is cigarette lighter. Yeah, surge protection you always need, and some people don't know this. When you use jump leads, you need surge protection on the battery, especially with a vehicle with an ECU. Yeah, what happens is that you jump start, okay, the vehicle alternator will then sense that there's not much charge in the battery, and it leaps up. Yeah, and it will put out a maximum voltage, and the amperage will be very high. Sometimes that can spike an ECU, and some guys know this. This happens on lorries that will blow an ECU. Now, you're talking thousands of pounds. You always have a surge protection. This has got surge protection in it when you boost charge it. So when it's running, you leave it running for a little while with this connected. Yeah. This is also idiot proof, because it has on the side there a red light and a green light. Yeah. Red light says polarity wrong. Yeah. Green light says polarity right, and you also have a boost button for when you need that extra boost. Yeah, with a dead battery. Yeah, so yeah, you can't go wrong with one of these. It's a space saver. Yeah, I used this to get this vehicle started, because again, it had been sitting around for a long time. It's got a parasitic drain on here. I've got to find it. I don't know where it is at the moment. I've got to find the parasitic drain on here, because it's taking batteries out. Battery was changed last year, so it's a new battery. Yeah, batteries do not like to be drained low. When they do, then what will happen is it'll damage cells in them. Okay, they don't like it. They like to have the charge within a certain range. Okay, in the back of the car here, I have now added this to the inventory of emergency equipment. Okay, I do keep a belt in there. I know how to change them. They don't usually throw, but just in case I've got one, I can do one quickly. Yeah, bulb kits. Okay, bulb kits. This is good for some cars, not for others. You can see this bulb here is a dual dip and main beam. Okay, not suitable for most cars these days, because what you have is like H7 or H2, I can't remember what it is. It was one of these bulbs. Yeah, never touch the glass. Yeah, one for main beam, one for dip beam. Yeah, fuses, stop light bulbs, or combination stop and tail. Yeah, and an indicator bulb. Yeah, that's just standard these days. Should really keep them in your vehicle. Yeah, I know they're a bit hard to change. I don't know what part number this is, but you can buy them off Amazon. Bulb kits, worth your while. Yeah, worth your while. Save you money in the long run. spare wheel underneath. Make sure that the pressure, yeah, on this is always at par. You should always check, you always make sure your tyre pressures are correct at any point in time, yeah, so regularly check them. And I just want to show you here, I spilt some diff oil on the carpet here. My mum's going to go ballistic if she finds out about this. Take the spare wheel in here. I know some people have got compressors and juice to put in the tyre. Make sure you check that, yeah, because they do go out of date. Make sure the compressor runs as well, yeah, just every now and then. All the other kit, including the towing eye, because you never know when you need to be towed somewhere. Yeah, it's just the silly little things that make all the difference. They make all the difference to I'll just hide that there, yeah, that makes all the difference for you getting underway very quickly or not getting underway very quickly. I know European laws are different and they might be different in America. UK, do we need to carry a first aid kit? Well, I do, just in case I lash my hand when I'm doing something, yeah, some plasters and whatever else in there. You wouldn't be expected to use a first aid kit if you're not trained, yeah. People carry fire extinguishers and all sorts of things, which is good. I don't in this vehicle because that costs me money, because they need to be checked regularly, yeah. People who have been watching this channel for a while know that I went through a little bit of a weight loss regime. Lost it around the chest, well, lost it everywhere, yeah. And believe it or not, I still can't get under these type of cars, yeah, because they're just too low, yeah. What you need to do if you're servicing vehicles like this, or you own a vehicle like this, along with something bigger that you might have, you want a low profile jack, yeah. I've got one of those, it's an SIP one, it cost me about 140 quid, and I'm not bigging up SIP, but I've found that this jack is actually pretty good, yeah, for jacking up cars. Get underneath them, I can do an inspection. Obviously I'm using axle stands with them, because you don't want to be climbing underneath a vehicle with it just jacked up, yeah, but at least I can get under there, do the oil changes, do the inspection, check everything out, spin the wheels and all that sort of business, and I'm good, yeah. I'm working on my drive, yeah, as you can see, on a housing estate, and obviously it's not on the road, okay. Hard standing here, which is pretty damn good, yeah. So when you're jacking up a vehicle, especially a car, you need somewhere solid that when you jack it up it doesn't slip, yeah, and you don't use the sills on a vehicle. You can do if you've got the special pads on a two-poster ramp, yeah, but usually with a jack you want to avoid the sills and go underneath where there's a solid bit like a chassis or a cross member, yeah. Right, okay, so what I have here is a high lift jack, but it's also low profile. You can see that it almost lifts to 90 degrees, so that's good enough for any Land Rover owner, but it's also good for cars, and I'll show you why, yeah. Now, just drop it down. The low profile part is here, alright, which will go under a car very, very easily. So if you're, for instance, you got your Jeeps and your Land Rovers, or even your vans, your Sprinters, whatever, Ford Transits, you name it, you've got the bonus of a high lift and it's low profile. So you can see here, yeah, good lift, yeah. All right, I'm not jacking on the sill here, I'm jacking on a member which is a bit further back. Sometimes you won't find this on cars, and on the rear of this vehicle I have to jack it up on suspension points. So you've got to be fairly adaptable when it comes to doing it. One thing I'll say here, and I've seen this before, is that these handles can scratch the bodywork or damage mirrors and all sorts, so just be aware of that. Use an axle stand if you're working underneath, because these things can fail, or not only this, but they can slip off the point that it's on, okay, so just be aware of that. I generally, if I'm working and I'm just like spinning the wheels or something like that, just checking the tires or whatever, or doing the bearings, I'll be all right with a jack. Any other jobs, especially if it's got the wheel off, you use these bad boys, yeah. Never ever go under a vehicle without adequate protection, as they say. The other thing what I'm going to show you is my knee pads, yeah, in my trousers. Okay, these I actually use to work all the time, but these have got pads in them. These are builders ones from Screwfix, I think these were, Lee Cooper's. Yeah, they're very, very durable, but the pads in them, I can get down on my knees and I'm good. Not all day long, but working out on my drive, it's filthier than it is working in a workshop. Yeah. So this jack will lift up really, really high. Yeah, and I don't need to do that much, but as you lift, the jack moves. Yeah. As it's coming up, the jack will move, and it can move on the members, which is really, really, really dodgy if it's only just teetering on something. So this is something to be aware of. Yeah. Okay. Once I lift the front off here, the rear will actually come up as well. Okay. So yeah, back wheel's off the ground. I'm always very, very wary of this. I've seen somebody have an accident with one of these. Not good. He wasn't ill, but for long, but he still hurt himself. Okay. Yeah, so that's a low profile 2.5 ton service jack. Yeah, and this is actually pretty good for 140 quid. You can't go wrong here. Yeah, you can't go wrong. So anyway, I've done this car now, and this is a freebie because it's my mother. That's MOT Prep and the service, oil change. Just going to nip off and get a new tyre on the rear end, and she's ready for MOT. Yeah. It's surprising how damn good these cars are if you look after them. Yeah, I mean, this is a year 2000, doesn't do very many miles. I take her out once or twice a year, put some good fuel in it, rag it to make sure the exhaust gets hot and takes off any soot, and then I'll take it to MOT. Yeah, I usually take her shopping on the weekend, and the exhaust gets clogged up. You can imagine doing that every weekend for a year. It's failed the emissions a couple of times. I've taken it out, put some VTEC diesel into it, and then just ragged it, got hot, take it to the MOT station, and then it's passed. So that's the way we do it. Yeah, it's a good car, good engine actually. It's a PSA engine, which is a Peugeot engine, but it's actually a Duratorque engine. Yeah, this one is a Ford made engine. Yeah, the Duratorque engine. So hey, Ford make good engines. I don't know. I think you disagree with me there. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see you later. Something that my landlord is going to hate me for, and I've got to clean this up. Sometimes we do get those little oil disasters, don't we? And you can see on here I've got a bit of a mess. This is going to have to be sorted out, yeah, before I actually depart from this place. But this is years and years of oil changes and all sorts on here, you know. That's just the way it is, that's the way I am, you know. I'll never change.